What's up, guys? Tugi here, back again. This is my Quebec City Nordiques franchise mode here on NHL 17. And in this episode, despite being in third place in our division, despite having a fan happiness rating of 92 and a locker room chemistry of 82, we make some much needed changes. There's no denying the only reason that we are in the spot we are in right now is because of our top line, the leading goal scorer in the NHL, Matthew Tkachuk, and the leading point getter in the NHL, Jesse Puljujarvi. And of course, there will be a goaltending change as well, as Jonas Enroth has been terrible. Coming into this season, we knew that Milano, Larkin, Bjorkstrand, Dubois, Gorodov, and Puljujarvi all needed to have big seasons and needed to step up. Matthew Tkachuk as well. Puljujarvi has definitely exceeded all expectations. And Gorodov, I'm not terribly disappointed in. 20-year-old rookie, 14 points. I mean, it's just, but Dubois, for example, you look at the point total. Look at the point total for Bjorkstrand, Larkin, and Milano. They are all being outscored by Kevin Stenlund. Yeah, they need to go. It's embarrassing. And I will say this, these trades, I have 4 trades in mind. They might not be the most realistic. I mean, that's the thing. This series in general, I've tried to keep it somewhat realistic, but there's only so much you can do. You know, we put the handcuffs on in the first season. But as far as this series goes, like getting Matthew Tkachuk, not the most realistic. Puljujarvi, not the most realistic. I mean, then again, who's to say Peter Chiarelli won't trade him, because that's just what he does. But overall, I mean, it's not like I'm going to be like, oh, we're totally going out and getting Connor McDavid right here. But I have two of these trades some people might find a bit unrealistic, but I need to do whatever I can to get this team into a better spot. Now, unfortunately as well, these, what was I going to say? Losing my train of thought. These trades won't be gigantic. For example, Nathan MacKinnon is a name that we have thrown around a lot. But you look at who we are trading. Dylan Larkin is our most valuable guy, our number one guy. Watch this, for example. We'll tack on all these seconds. We'll even put on this Montreal second because it's more valuable than ours. This trade will not go through. So we cannot get that elite player, but we can attempt to get players that are close. And that brings us to our first deal after scouting out the player stats for this season. Markstrom. Jacob Markstrom. Is he Jakob or Jacob? I'm going to say Jacob Markstrom. He's currently a backup goalie. He is Vancouver's starter. 33 games played, a .921 save percentage, which is pretty much identical to Joonas Korpisalo's. And I'll actually show you guys that really quick. Korpisalo, fewer games, 5 fewer games, I think. He had 33, right? I hope he did. .922 save percentage, which is just a little bit better. Jonas Enroth, of course, has been dreadful, so we will look to move Enroth out in this episode, which is disappointing. I mean, he's been our backup for a few years, and I mean, I thought re-signing him in the offseason, he'd be able to continue that. They won't go through with that. That's okay. Can I add another 6? I mean, that's the thing. We have a shitload of draft picks, too, so I'm not against giving up these weaker picks. It is a shame, and it's a bit low. Okay. It is a shame, though, that we're not going to be able to really use those picks to trade up because the draft is so inconsistent. If we keep all 5 of those picks in the first 2 rounds, we are guaranteed to swing and miss on potentially 3 out of 5. I mean, you never know with the draft, but I need to get this Enroth deal done here. Will a 5th round pick do it? A 3rd, 4th, 5th, and Enroth for Markstrom. Will that go through? It will not. Okay, I'll just stop being cheap because I want to get this deal done and at least get a little bit of simming done in this episode. Well, let's see here. That should go through. And indeed it does. Jacob Markstrom is our new backup goalie. He will, of course, drop an overall point due to the morale system. But he is here, and we will actually just go best lines because those lines are going to have to be redone in a moment anyway. Our next trade, though, does involve forwards, and we are going to look to get our new 3rd line left wing, and that man is going to be Dmytro Timashov from the Toronto Maple Leafs. Medium top 6 forward potential, 23 years old, 85 overall. currently with 30 points on the season, and we will hope that he can continue to deliver at that pace. So the man going out will be Sonny Milano, and we're also going to tack on a prospect here, Hoyt, who we just drafted. Again, I'm allowed to get rid of him. Actually, we drafted him a little bit, quite a while ago anyway. I'd be allowed to get rid of him, though, anyway, because, we're not just offloading him for a pick. That might go through on its own. I want to see if I can just tack on a pick here because I'm stingy as hell. Can we get our 7th round pick back from them? Will they take that? They will! Lovely. Sonny Milano is the newest Maple Leaf. He and Hoyt are off to Toronto for Timashov and a 7th round pick. Very, very disappointed in Sonny Milano, that is for sure. We need to call up Timashov. It's a shame that he is going to drop a point. That is 2 trades done, and next up, we get into the really big trades. And for the first one, we go to the Isle. The New York Islanders, of course, a team we used for a very short amount of time, and there's a certain player I wanted to see more of, and that man is Michael Dowcall, 86 overall, medium elite potential at 23 years old, currently with 29 points on the season for the Islanders, and we will look to bring him in and hope that he can be a difference maker. The man going out will be Pierre-Luc Dubois. You can see not the greatest of trade values, unfortunately. And we'll just see. We'll package him with some picks and see what it will take. How about 2/4? Will they take that? Do I have to give up thirds? I'm going to have to give up thirds, which is all right by me. Well, actually, no, hold on. I'm just going to try a shitload of fourths. I don't necessarily want to give up a third in this deal. Will he just take a shitload of fourths? Probably not. Okay, I'll at least add a 3rd round pick in here and see what they say. We will give them Anaheim's 3rd. Will that go through on its own? It will not. This is normally why I do jump cuts, but I did want to make these trades live. How about 2/4 for Dowcall? That won't go through either. God damn it. I figured this would be a little bit easier. 3/4? Please? No. Shit. What am I thinking here? 2/3 for Michael Dowcall, please. I'm probably going to have to give up a 2nd, aren't I? I'm probably going to have to give up a 2nd. And actually, I'll have to reselect Dubois here, who has a lower trade value than Timashov. We will give them our 2nd round pick. I'm content with that. Dubois and our 2nd for Dowcall. They won't do that either. Okay, well, this is... this isn't going too well. How about 2/4? I just wanted to go through. That goes through. We probably gave him one more 4th than we needed to. I don't care. We get rid of Dubois, and we bring in Michael Dowcall to be our new 2nd line center. And, of course, now we just need to get him some wingers. We will call him up. We'll go with best lines. And we have one more, just one more, trade to make. And then this team is set and is hopefully ready to make a strong playoff push. And I was talking about realism. Well, again, this might not be the most realistic trade, but I have 2 guys that I want, Laine and Ehlers. Patrick Laine won the Calder last year, many years after where you would expect his rookie year to be. That means Dylan Larkin, Bjorkstrand, and I believe we're going to have to tack on some picks here to make this go through. How about 2/6? Will that go through? And indeed it will, and I'm content with that. Larkin, Bjorkstrand, and 2 6th round picks to Winnipeg for Patrick Laine and Nikolai Ehlers. Again, more than content with those trades in general. Perhaps not the most realistic, and funnily enough, despite saying I'd probably cool it down a little bit on just switching up player types, we are going to have to make a couple of player type changes. But here is what I'm thinking the lineups will be. Puljujarvi will stay, but now we have Ehlers, who we're going to have to switch to a left wing. He had 28 points so far this year. Dowcall with 29, and then Laine with 32. And yes, look at the passing, look at the puck control. We are switching him to a playmaker. But again, I will kind of keep it cool. But, if there is a player, like defense too, as far as player types go, like, we switched Seth Jones here or there, we switched Savard and Vlasic, based on the need, based how on we wanted them to play. But those are the trades. Again, no, like, extreme blockbuster, but again, we don't have the players to necessarily do that. The only way we could pull off a blockbuster is to include Vlasic. That is the only way. Or, and this is a big or, we could trade our captain, David Savard, which would mean we'd have Seth Jones. I mean, that's the thing. Do we want to keep Carlson and Jones on the same pairing? If not, we could bump Carlson down to the second pairing, but they are both legitimate top two guys. Basically, what I'm saying is, if we want to go out and get McKinnon, Nolan Patrick on Edmonton, who's up to a 90 overall, and then, if we really wanted to get crazy, Eichel, Sagan, we would have to include Vlasic, and then we could really use those picks. I'm not going to do that now, but I won't go past the trade deadline in this episode because I will give you guys a chance to let me know what we should do. We can make one of those huge trades, but for now, we have made a couple of trades that I really feel like put this team in a better spot, and I hope to be proven right. So let's get into the sim here. I think we'll probably sim up until just before March 1st. So we will go, let's go to February 24th for no particular reason. We'll go to February 24th, see where this team stands. That gives us a couple of games. If we decide to make trades, we can do that. We will first, though, sim to, let's sim to the All-Star break and see how this new look team is doing. And then from there, we'll sim to the end of February and really see how this team is doing. So let's take a look. Can these new acquisitions help really turn this team around? I don't just want to make the playoffs. I want to win the division title, and I want to dominate. January's come to an end, and overall, it's been a pretty solid month for the Nordiques. Now a 28-18-3 record. I should note, it started off with a bit of a rough start, really. Chychrun actually went down in this game, and unfortunately we ended up having to come back against the Panthers, and he was re-injured. So we have been missing Chychrun for most of the month. We were able to get a nice 4-game winning streak, and we've won 4 out of our last 5 games to end the month. So things are looking all right for us. We are currently 3rd in the Metro. We've gotten a little bit of space away from everyone else except for Washington, but the Islanders are just running away with it. Just absolutely running away with it, despite losing Michael Dalcall. But I can imagine that Dubois right now is just tearing it up down there. But things have continued to go well. Tkachuk's still scoring. I mean, that top line is still getting it done. Puljujarvi's doing great. The second line, getting it done. Ehlers, 37 points. Michael Dalcall with 35. And Patrick Laine is just tearing people to shreds, especially now that we've switched him to a playmaker. And even the third line, Timashov, I'm happy with that. Stenlund up to 20 points. Kygorodov only 17. But again, if he can get to 30 as a rookie third liner, that's pretty damn good. Bittner, Kurdiles, and Mats Olsson aren't the most offensively gifted players, but I'm all right with it. And then Erik Karlsson and Seth Jones doing okay, but not as great. Ralph Jarrett is actually in the lineup right now. We had Gabe Carlson there the first time out, and then this time we called up Ralph Jarrett, who has a 5-star shot. Go figure. The goaltending as well has been great. Korpisalo a 920 save percentage. Markstrom still at a 921. So things are looking very good for us. Let us sim, though, now to February 24th. We will see if things are still going this well for us. And then, of course, that's where we'll end the episode. And, yeah, we'll give you guys a chance, one final chance to say if we should make one of those big-time moves or not. Again, Marc-Edouard Vlasic would be the man to go. But in the meantime, let's see what we can do this month. Can we stay where we are, or even better ourselves? As long as we're in playoff contention by the 24th, I'll be happy. We've reached our target date, guys, and things are looking good. 35, 20, and 4 on the season, and in this month we have only lost 3 games, 2 of them in regulation. We've currently won 5 straight games, including gigantic wins over division rivals, or at least people in our division. My God, I cannot believe the turnaround. And we, of course, have been dealing with injuries, but we're right there. We're 9 points back of the Penguins, but we're closing in on the Islanders, and we're 4 points ahead of the Washington Capitals. Things are looking very good for this team. Now, I mentioned injuries. Dmytro Timashov missed a little bit of time. Currently, Nick Kurdiles is out. We brought up Gabe Vilardi to give him a little bit of time, and he is making some good progression. Of course, Chychrun missed a bit of time, and Vlasic. Don't worry, he'll be back in time that if we decide to trade him that we can, but he is currently out. He's projected out until March 1st, so he'll come back a little bit sooner than that. And then, of course, Nick Kurdiles is there. But yeah, so far so good. I'll give you a full look at the... actually, no, let's just take a look really quick. 31 goals, 19 assists for Matthew Tkachuk. He hasn't gone up in overall or in attributes, but he's been great this season. Matt Duchene has also been great this season. No progression as expected. 16 goals, 29 assists is great. Jesse Puljujarvi, 52 assists, up to an 86 overall, and he's still improving. It's unbelievable. Second line, Nikolai Ehlers is doing great, up to 40 points on the year. No progression, though. Michael Dalcall, no progression, but he is doing very well as well. 13 goals and 29 assists. And then Patrick Laine, 19 goals and 29 assists. On the third line, Timashov up to an 85. He is improving, 12 goals and 28 assists. Kevin Stenlund, 26 points. 30 was my target. He very well could beat that, and he is making massive improvements for us, the former second-round pick of the Blue Jackets. And then Kai Gorodov up to an 85. You think that was a good pickup? You think acquiring Stan Kai Gorodov was a good pickup? I think so. 6 goals and 16 assists. Bittner, not doing that great, 13 points, but for a fourth liner, I will take it. Of course, Vilardi just got here. And then Mats Olsson with 19 points is doing pretty well. Defensively, Carlson, not too bad. Seth Jones, not too bad. Chychrun, 7 points isn't bad. I mean, he's been on the third line and he's been injured. David Savard, not too bad. I mean, he's certainly not going to hit the assist numbers that he had last year. 1 goal and 26, which was a career high. And then, of course, Carlson's here, and Bergman, not having the best of seasons, unfortunately. Excuse me. But overall, the team's looking really good. It's just a question of whether or not we take the extra step and really make that high-risk pick. Korpisalo, a 923 save percentage, a 920 for Markstrom. And again, the guys we could use, Savard, maybe Vlasic for sure, we could use to get somebody. Not having the best of seasons, but still, if we trade Vlasic, I mean, that means we bump up Chychrun, and then I'll probably have to use whatever picks we have left to get somebody else for that lefty spot. Chychrun would, of course, jump up to play with Savard or with whoever else is there. And looking at the AHL really quick, just because we've had some really good progression, this top line is performing very well, specifically Wes McDonald, who we just took in the 4th round. He is looking like a great pickup. And Vitaly Abramov, if you bump up that physical category, he's an NHLer today. He has some magnificent stats, and could probably, if I didn't get Timashov, he would have been there. And then defensively, Ralph Jarrett's up to a 79. They are dealing with an injury. Actually, no, Carlson's up. Never mind. Cale Fleury's up to a 78. Cypher's a 77. They are dealing with an injury, though, to Kozanov. It is Adam Werner, who is currently the starter in Cleveland. But guys, that will do it for this episode. Again, as I leave you today, I will give you a look at the standings and the player stats. That's the big question. Do we just keep this team together because we're rolling right now, or do we look to get that big-time player? And, of course, that means somebody in our top 6 would have to go down to the third line. But there you get a look right now. The Islanders have a game at hand and are 2 points up, and we have a game at hand on Pittsburgh, but are 9 points back. A little bit of a buffer away from the Washington Capitals as well. We have the 6th best record in the NHL, and Pittsburgh right now, as it stands, would win the President's Trophy. It's been a bit of a down year for Cleveland, unfortunately. But like I said, Wes McDonald is our leading scorer, and I actually do want to check. How well is he doing? We haven't paid too much attention to player stats for the AHL throughout this series. Oscar Lindbaum is there. He had, 40 points? He's not too far off. In the NHL, though, Puljujärvi, Tkachuk, and I'm an idiot because that's sorted on the Quebec. Puljujärvi's close. He's close. Tarasenko has him beat. Nick Backstrom is there. Nolan Patrick, man, he's been a steal for Edmonton. They just don't have the cap space. I haven't been able to get him. And I don't think we'd be able to because he's still in his entry-level deal. Vinny Hinostroza is somebody else we were looking at as well. But yeah, Puljujärvi is still there, and the goal-scoring leader is still Matthew Tkachuk. But anyways, guys, this episode has gone on long enough. We will call it there. Let me know what you think. Do I go for a major player? It could even be somebody like Tarasenko, although I don't know if we'd really even be able to afford him. But I'm talking Tarasenko, Sagan, Eichel, maybe even Connor McDavid. I don't know. Do we try to go for that elite guy, that franchise-level guy, or do we keep our team together? Because right now we are rolling and taking Puljujärvi. Then again, it might be a center. Maybe we could take Duchesne off that top line. Anyway, I'm done. Thank you all for watching. Of course, like, subscribe, all the normal YouTube stuff. You would have already done it if you liked it, right? You would have done it. Come on. I'll see you guys next time.